Miss Fennell here. I'm going to go over both the questions with you and what is on the slideshow. So I'm going to be going back and forth in this video in between the slideshow and the questions. So you can feel free to pause this video as you are going about. So I'm going to go into the slideshow first of all, and we got the questions of coronavirus slideshow. So first of all, there's what we call the science disclaimer. Science is the process of finding out how things work. Scientists devote their life's work to digging into complicated problems, experimenting, questioning, debating, testing, and retesting. The problem with this process is that good science takes time. And of course, time is what we don't have right now. Scientists are working so quickly on this problem that the information is changing day by day. This slideshow represents the scientifically reported evidence as of 5/14/20. It may change when new and better evidence becomes available, as it is likely to do. All right, so going back to the questions. The first question is from the science disclaimer slide. What is our problem with the process of science right now? Is it scientists are always wrong? We don't know what is causing this disease, or is it that good science takes time? Second question from this slide, when would the information presented in this slideshow change? Never, or it may change when new and better evidence becomes available. All right, next we're going to go to, there is a video here. You should go back and click into the slideshow and watch this video. It explains really quickly the basics of coronavirus and what it is. All right, the next slide is how does it spread? How does it spread? As the virus infects a person, it invades their cells and then makes the cells make more viruses. The infected person then gives off or sheds virus when they breathe. The viruses are carried in water droplets we breathe out. Most of these droplets fall to the ground within a few minutes, but some of them hang in the air for longer. The more breathing out an infected person is doing, and other things like talking, laughing, yelling, or coughing, would increase the amount of virus they shed. The virus seems to spread most in confined areas where people have close contact for more than 15 minutes. An interesting case, this really is an interesting one. If you want to click in, and there's a news story about this. There was something called, I think you say that, the Skagit Valley choir practice in Washington in March. 53 out of 61 choir members got sick from a 2-hour choir practice. There's thought there that one person had symptoms, and eventually I think 2 people died from this, and many of them actually tested positive, and then at least 53 of them even just had symptoms. This video also, if you want to come back to the slideshow and play the video, this does have some neat animation of the virus and some showing you how it transmits from person to person. The virus can also get in the body by touching surfaces, and then by touching surfaces and then doing things like picking your nose or rubbing your eyes. Picking your nose, by the way, is not only gross because you can spread virus that way too if you're infected, or bacteria and other things you have in there. But yeah, if you're touching, a doorknob and you pick up the virus on your finger and then you go to pick your nose, you've just inoculated yourself basically with the virus. So yet another reason not to pick your nose. And also the virus can get in through our eyes as well. We know flu viruses can get in through our eyes. So rubbing your eyes and that sort of thing after touching a surface. Although in most of the sources I've seen, the estimate is between a pretty low percent, I think like 10% or so of cases are probably picking it up that way. Most of it is this. Talking to a person, having close contact for an extended, more than 5-10 minutes of time. All right, so back to the questions on the sheet. The next one is, which situation are you more likely to get coronavirus? Is it talking and laughing with an infected person for more than 10 minutes, or touching a surface that has the virus? Next one is, how many choir members out of 61 had symptoms of coronavirus after the 2-hour practice? Was it 0, 10, 20, or 53? All right, 2 more questions from the next slide. What makes it so contagious? The short answer to this, what makes it so contagious? The protein spikes on the outside of the virus are really, really good at latching on to human cells. Because of this, it takes a smaller dose of the virus to cause an infection. Also, this virus has been harder to shut down because people can be spreading it before or without feeling sick. They can spread it before they feel sick or if they never feel sick. In other words, people could be passing it on without even knowing they have it. For many other deadly diseases, this is not the case, and people are most contagious when they are very sick. So it is easier to identify and isolate them. And again, if you want to come back in and watch the video, I think this one's about 7 minutes. This really gets into more why this virus is so contagious and gives you more animations and details about that. So the questions on the form are, what part of the virus latches on to the human cells really well? Was it the RNA, the fat molecules, or the protein spikes? And then another one from this slide, what is another reason the virus has spread so easily? Is it because people only give off virus when they are really sick? Warmer temperatures help spread the virus more? Or people without symptoms may spread the disease? All right, so next, why doesn't it affect kids? This was a question people had for me. Why doesn't it affect kids? This is a great question, and we still aren't really sure. In addition to that, the virus is most deadly to people over age 60. We have a few ideas about this. It may be because children's immune systems act differently than older people's. Children have more ACE2 receptors on their cells, and it is thought that this helps the immune system react to the virus more efficiently. It may also be because children have healthier blood vessels. Many of the deadly effects of the virus have to do with infected cells lining the blood vessels and blood clots. Children have tested positive for coronavirus and have been shown to give off virus even though they don't have symptoms, although we're not sure how contagious they are. So even though we know they can be sick and we know they're giving off virus, we're not really sure how much kids without symptoms could spread it, say, to adults or grandparents or things like that. We don't know that yet. And so we're still trying to figure that one out. All right, so the questions here. What receptors do we think kids have more of? This may change the way the immune system reacts to the virus. Is it the ARC97 receptors, the ACE2 receptors, or the ABC receptors? All right, next one comes from the get the right slide here. How did it start? I really recommend watching the video here. It's a really good video that shows where in general new viruses come from and where we think kind of the history of the family tree of this virus and a lot more, I think, really interesting information about it. We can trace the virus by doing DNA, or in this case, RNA fingerprinting. We can look at various mutations in the RNA of the virus and tell how it has spread. For example, most cases in New York have more genetic similarities to strains in Europe, and most cases in California came from China. Initially, anyway. Scientists currently do not think this was a human-created virus. It is most likely that the virus evolved from other coronaviruses in animals and then was transferred to humans. And again, watch the video. It explains more. So most cases in New York have more genetic similarities to strains in Europe. And that's our next question. We traced cases of coronavirus in New York from, was it China, Africa, or Europe? All right. What organs does it affect? That was a question kids had. Although the virus mainly affects the lungs in most people, it attaches to and infects cells with what we call the ACE2 receptors, and lots of cells have these. It has also been found to affect nerve cells. In some people, it causes loss of their sense of smell. Kidney cells and heart cells, among others. It also seems to cause problems with blood clotting, which is blood sticking together and plugging up blood vessels in some people. If you watch this video, it's more about what the virus does in various cells, more about what the virus does in the lungs and why it makes it hard to breathe for some people when it's in their lungs. So the question here was, although the virus mostly affects lung cells, it can affect others as well. What is one symptom of the virus infecting nerve cells? Is it loss of a sense of smell, losing the ability to move, or losing the ability to talk? All right, how soon will we have a vaccine? The question on everybody's mind. This video is showing more about how vaccines are made and that sort of thing. The effort to make a vaccine started almost as soon as we were first able to sequence the RNA of the virus. There are over 60 plus teams and companies currently working on different vaccines. The fastest the vaccine has ever been made before is in 4 years. However, we have never successfully made a vaccine for coronavirus before. The previous tries for the diseases SARS and MERS, which were also coronavirus diseases, actually made the disease worse in some people. So we're a little afraid of that. Along with vaccines, another hope is to find medicines to treat the disease. Most of these target stopping the virus from taking over and replicating inside cells. Some of these medicines are already being tested in people and have been shown to work. So hopefully that would be a good thing if we can even find medicines. If we can't get a vaccine to work, there's also a good chance we could find medicines too. And again, this video shows more about that. So if you're interested in learning more about that, you should watch that there. What is the fastest we have ever made a vaccine before? Was it 6 months, 1 year, 4 years, or 10 years? All right, 2 questions left. Can pets get coronavirus? This is a question a lot of kids have asked me, and that answer is yes. At first, and this is an example too of information that has changed within the last month. At first, we thought they couldn't get it, and now we are seeing cases. The first case that I heard of was this one's kind of, it's not really a funny story, but a zookeeper in the Bronx in New York infected a tiger, and then this tiger spread it to other tigers. So both cats and dogs can test positive for the virus, although it does not seem to make them as sick as humans. There's no reports that I have seen of this causing deaths in pets, although it can make them like have the sniffles and stuff. No pet to human cases have been recorded yet, though, so hopefully we can't catch it from them. But they do say if you're sick, you should stay away from your pets as you would other people. There's more information on this website here about dogs and coronavirus. So it's just another piece. And again, this kind of makes sense if we think the virus came from animals. It makes sense that viruses, that it could go into animals too. So yeah, pets can get coronavirus. Ugh. Can pets get coronavirus? Slide, can they? Yes, cats and dogs can get it. No, cats and dogs cannot get it, as far as we know so far. And then the last one here, area of big debate that I've seen lately, but this is looked into it, read a lot of websites, and this is what I've found out. Do masks really help? The answer to that seems to be yes and no. Viruses are so small that they can go through holes in most masks. However, masks still help infected people from spreading the virus as much. Cloth masks trap droplets of water we are breathing out. If an infected person is wearing a mask, that will lower the amount of virus they are giving off. And since many people can be spreading the disease before they have symptoms, this may be a good way to help slow the disease down. However, some scientists are worried that masks give people a false sense of security and may lead to people standing closer together because they think the mask gives more protection than it does. Using a mask is one tool, along with social distancing and hand washing, that helps slow the spread of the disease. This is a video that just kind of shows people sneezing with a mask and without a mask, and various things kind of just to show. But using a mask is one tool, along with social distancing, keeping as far away from each other as you can, and hand washing that can slow the spread of the disease. So last question there. True or false, masks are the only way to help slow the spread of coronavirus? True or false? All right, and that's it. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you have a fabulous weekend, and we'll see you soon.